Good evening. Good evening. Good evening. Welcome to The Real with Mio. Welcome to The Real with Mio. Yes. Mio had to jump on this evening. There's a word that has been burning in my spirit for quite a while now. May God be pleased with my interpretation of it, or should I say with my delivery of it. Yes. This is a new segment that we are going to indulge in, being Wisdom Wednesday. Yes. We are going to indulge in Wisdom Wednesday. Yes. That's what we're going to begin to do on The Real with Mio. We're going to share wisdom with one another on Wednesdays. You like the sound of that? You like the sound of that? Give me some likes. Let me know how does that dwell with your spirit? Maybe you need to think about it for a while. But let's go for it. On this evening, we are coming from Proverbs. Yes. What a perfect place to find wisdom, which would be within Proverbs, right? Let's go to Proverbs 1, actually. 1 and 33. I read it. But whoso hearkeneth unto me shall dwell safely and shall be quiet from fear of evil. I'll read it again. But whosoever hearkeneth unto me shall dwell safely and shall be quiet from fear of evil. All right. It's always good to read things twice. Actually, I teach that to my students at school. Let's close read. Read it twice. Why? Because when you read the first time, you may speed past something that you have overlooked. So read it again. Then now let's do some annotated notes, right? And we're going to now indulge and go a little deeper. Now, we're focusing on running to his name. But I had to come to Proverbs 1 and 33 first, because it speaks that if you hearken unto the voice of God, and you hearken, meaning to listen to his voice, you are going to now be quiet from fear of evil. In the world that we live in right now, there's a lot of loudness about the fear of evil. And I don't blame you. I'm human. I understand where you're coming from. It's the fear of evil, the fear of something going terribly wrong, the fear that something is going to occur, whether you're in the mall, on your place of employment, work, if you are in a movie theater enjoying yourself, if you are in a supermarket picking up groceries to prepare dinner or lunch, if you are even within a learning facility to become better and to enhance your mind, you have a fear of evil. And let's not mention, even if you are in a synagogue or a church, you are living in an age where there's a fear of evil. Yes, there really is. I charge everyone to have security. From my human perspective, I charge everyone to become a concealed to carry. Why? Because there is a fear of evil. Because evil is loose on our land, in our land, on our land, in our land, however you want to word it. Every time you turn around in a neighborhood, whether you are in the suburbs or the city, you're looking over your shoulder. Why, Mill? Because there's a fear of evil. But we have a comforter. We have wisdom. We have God that we are going to run into. So yes, I'm running into our next point. Our next point happens to be Proverbs 18. If you can turn there real quick or just listen. All right. You see, I'm going to make sure I read it closely. Proverbs 18 and 10. The name of the Lord is a strong tower. The righteous run to it and is safe. You have to run to his name. That's the word that will not shake my spirit. As I was meditating the other morning, God said, run to my name. And I literally was like, okay, well, God, I mean, nothing, let's say it like this. There's nothing really big happening in my life right now where I feel like I'm under a huge amount of pressure and stress to the point where I'm just walking around scratching my hair out and yelling at people or taking out frustrations on others. So I'm literally asking God, like, well, God, I love your name, but why are you waking me up with this in the middle of the night? Why are you telling me to run to your name? What is going on, or what is going to occur where I have to now prepare my spirit to fast and to run to your name? And then he began to show me how when you don't already, let's say, practice the being proactive, right? If you're not proactive, what occurs is the enemy will literally attack you and destroy you. Why? Because you haven't built up your strength in God. All right? Not in your human capabilities, but in his principles, in his concepts, how he rules, how he runs the whole world, right? And honestly, how he runs your life. So God was dealing with me with these things because I started to fall into the habit that many of us fall into, that things always have to go wrong and then you pursue God. A lot of us are, honestly, we're motivated to get closer to him only when our world has fear in it. Only when we are in, let's say, living in fear of evil. And that's not the way God wants us to be, right? Brothers and sisters, I'm speaking to you now as a brother and a sister right now. I'm not pointing fingers at anyone. I'm talking with you because it's easy to allow your life to get so busy where you forget to study. You forget to pursue God. And now God is telling us, with the world that we're living in right now, is that if we want to be able to go and live the life that he has blessed us to live, there are certain things that we have to do, brothers and sisters. We have to hearken unto his voice, obey him. When it means to hearken, it says to listen respectfully. Stop turning a deaf ear to God and hearken unto his voice. Why, Neil? So then you can be quiet of the fear of evil. When you are quiet of the fear of evil, now I understand the importance of why God told me to run into his name. Why? Because now I am an educator, right? Unfortunately, the horrible event that took place yesterday is honestly a possibility in every state, in every city, in every town. I don't care if you can walk out your front lawn or walk out in your front yard, in your front lawn, and see a cow across the street. I don't care if you see a liquor store across the street. It is possible to happen anywhere. In order for me to still live the life that God has blessed me to live, in order for you to live the life that God has blessed you to live, you have to hearken unto his voice. Hearkening unto his voice doesn't always make sense. Honestly, I'm not one to be, let's say, fake on any level, but definitely not on the level of being a human being. It's not easy to be obedient to God, but all I can tell you is that my experience is worth it. It's better to be obedient to him than to sacrifice your peace, sacrifice what he has for you, and honestly, even your connection to him. Not that it will be separated, for nothing can separate us from the love of God. However, there will be a hindrance. There will be some static in there. There will be some negativity in there. The enemy will begin to work in between you and God when you do not do what he has instructed you to do. Now you live in a life of no peace. We have to have peace. I'm seriously, like I walked into my job today and I said to myself, Mill, someone could come in and harm you and these children. If you are anything like myself, with being a mother, with being one that is, not just being a mother, my spirit, I was born a protector. I was born a warrior. That's just what it is. I can't just charge that with being a mother, because not all mothers are alike, right? Not all women are alike. You don't have to be a protector, or should I say the qualifications of being a protector does not include being a mother. So you can be a protector and not necessarily be a mother, correct? So because we know this, I can't just blame it on that. I was born to protect. That's just me. I don't run away from the fire. I run into the fire to see who can I save or how can I destroy this fire. That's just how Millie is set up, okay? So as I'm walking into the building this morning, I began to pray, God, if something crazy occurs in the mind of someone that's approaching this school, I pray that you turn it around. I intercede on behalf of my students. I intercede on behalf of my colleagues. And I ask that you protect us, not just me, but even go to my daughter's school. Protect her as she's learning. I don't want to get a call saying that her or my nephew are now deceased because of someone being mentally imbalanced, or because they have a bet or a truth or dare type of situation going on. No, God, I mean, I'm thinking of everything. Why? It's not because I'm a warrior. It's because, again, what did I just state? It's in me to protect. So when it's in you to protect, what are you going to do? You are going to make sure that you cover all sides. And when praying, that's what I considered myself doing. But I also found myself sitting at my desk as I was helping my students throughout the day, dealing with their issues. Fear started to consume me. So as I sat at my screen, I said, Father, I understand why you instructed me to run into your name, because there's safety there. Now, Father, I understand why last week you wouldn't allow this word to escape me. Now I understand why you instructed me to run into your name, because there will be safety there. Also, when I run into his name, I'm going to, honestly for me, I'm going to unknowingly hearken unto his voice. And when I hearken unto his voice, now I'm going to be quiet of the fear of evil. Meaning I am so afraid that evil will occur, I cannot live and function properly through this life. I know I'm not by myself. There were grown adults that I was speaking to today that honestly, eyes filled with tears because of the fear of evil. In order to experience being quiet of the fear of evil, which will equal peace, in order to live in peace, to operate in peace, we have to hearken unto the voice of God. When you hearken unto the voice of God, you run into his name. There you find peace. There you find safety. There you find shelter, refuge in the time of trouble. We live in a time of trouble right now, brothers and sisters. You will be silly to think that you don't need God. You will be silly to ignore the voice of God. It's not the opportunity. It's not time for you to ignore his voice. It's time for you to hearken unto his voice. If you do not hearken unto the voice of God, when you go into Walmart, you're going to be afraid. When you're driving in your car, you're going to be afraid. When you're in church worshiping, you're going to be afraid. Now, one will probably say, well, Millie, why now all of a sudden God is speaking to you? Now all of a sudden it's a threat to hearken unto the voice of God. What makes this thing so serious? This isn't the first time there was a shooting at a school. This isn't the first time that this occurred. All of you are correct that's having that mindset. And honestly, negativity, the enemy is placing it there. So you can tell that inner voice that is going against the word of God and what God is saying, you can tell it that it is correct. However, we notice something that is different. Just as death is not new under the sun, I can tell you something that is new under the sun to a certain degree. It's let's say, the repetition of it, the patterns of it. There are more occurrences of these things that we've never seen before. It used to be a time when they said that people died in threes. Babies were created in threes, right? In families. Things come in threes, things come in threes. Oh, wives' tales. However, if you're not noticing a trend now, death is among us like never before. People are dying at all ages, left and right. And you still think that we still live in the same world that we once lived in 100 years ago? There's a climate change in the spirit that has occurred. And if you are under the assumption that you can continue to function normally without hearkening unto the voice of God, I am your bearer of bad news. Things will not be your way. Things will not go the way that you want them to go without listening to the voice of God. Don't ignore it anymore. If you want to live a prosperous life, if you want to live a life of comfort and not turmoil, again, this is not for the warrior that I'm speaking to. I'm speaking to that one that is the protector, like myself. It's not that I don't trust God. I trust God. God has been awesome to me. I trust God. Literally, I love him. I trust him. Sometimes I feel like maybe he spoiled me a little bit because seriously, you all, some things don't affect me because he's proven himself to be so strong in my life. It's like, oh, he's going to bless me. He's going to surprise me with this one because he knows my heart, right? That's the relationship that he and I have. That's the relationship that I have with the one I call my father, right? Our Father. That's the relationship I have with him. That's the confidence I have in him. However, the protector in me, that warrior spirit that I have, is like Joan of Arc, a lioness, where it's like I have to protect on all sides. And at all times, my children have to be safe. I said children because I not only have one child biologically, but I am the mother of several children in my school, outside of my school. It's in me. So I am always concerned about their well-being. I'm always concerned about them having what they need. I'm always concerned about making sure they have a smile on their face. And if correction is needed, I'm always making sure, God, give me what I need to say so that I can help your baby be successful. I'm talking to us protectors. I'm not by myself. When God placed his spirit in me, he just didn't say only in Millie. He deposited into others that protect, that move into the line of fire sometimes without thinking. All you thinking about is the end goal of this is going to be they're safe, they're protected, they're shielded, correct? I'm talking to us tonight. Listen and hearken unto the voice of God so that your spirit can be quiet and the fear of evil will leave from you. The fear of evil. How does this look, Neil? Thank you for asking. Now that we have moved past the background of this thing, where we currently are, how does this look? It looks like this. You're going to go to work tomorrow without fear of evil. You're going to study in class tomorrow without fear of evil. You're not going to worry about if you're getting bullied. You're not going to worry about if someone is following you on your way home from school or to school. You're not going to worry about if someone is trying to jump you after school. You're not going to worry about if someone is going to come into your school and shoot you up. You're not going to worry about any of that. You're not going to worry about a crazy coworker, or let me remove that word crazy. An emotional unstable coworker that could not accept rejection coming into your job and shooting up everyone because they are acting from a place of anger. You're not going to worry about that. You're not going to worry about your bills. You're not going to worry about someone breaking into your home and violating you in any way, whether by raping your wife, raping your significant other, or your children. You're not going to worry about someone mugging you, someone sticking you up at a gas station in the wee hours of the morning or at noon when the sun is out. No, you're going to go into church and you're going to worship peacefully. That's how that looks. You're quiet of the fear of evil. I'm naming a lot of things that could occur, but we thank God that he didn't allow it to occur. And if it has occurred in your life, we thank God that he has kept you to be able to testify how he kept you in that. Because you could have the story that the graveyard tells, that now we used to be, but we are no more. You could have that story, but you don't. You don't because you have purpose. You don't because God said, hearken unto my voice so that you can be quiet of the fear of evil. We don't walk as those that have no hope. We have hope. God has been so great to us. He has kept us from many things, some that we can't even mention. And it's okay. You don't have to mention it on here. You don't have to type it in there. It's not that I don't care, but some things are not my business to know. Some things should remain between you and God. It's safe there. You know why I know? Because I tried it and I know. I've run into his name. And in his name is privacy. It is. In his name is trust. I can trust me there in his name. His name is so mighty and so strong, right? Oh, somebody, you remember that song you guys did in preschool? The name of the Lord is so strong and so mighty. Do you remember that? You guys used to like chant that, you and PJ? I mean, it sounds cute when kids say it, but what about when we try to live it? Right? It's like, there's nothing my God cannot do. You remember that song? Oh my God. We used to sing that in the living room, in Melissa and Paul's living room with the kids when they were in preschool. And they would get all into it. Like, the name of the Lord is so strong and so mighty. There's nothing my God cannot do. Think about that name. When you get out of your car in the middle of the night and you see some strange people walking, call out his name. Call out the name of our God. Run into his name. It's safety there. There's security there. There's wisdom there. When you call on his name and when you run to his name, he's not going to have you do nothing foolish. Wherever he has called you to, he has already provided what you need. So please don't ever allow the enemy to change your thoughts into what I'm saying is now to just be reckless, to be walking out in the middle of the night at midnight as a young lady, as a young woman, walking out with your cell phone like life is just lackadaisy. No, when you are hearkening unto the voice of God, he's going to warn you before things occur. That's why your spirit is walking and living in peace now, because you're quiet of the fear of evil. Because I trust that my God shall not lead me anywhere that he has not already provided protection for me. And if he allows something to come upon me, it's only for his greater good, for his glory to be seen in me. Seriously. People are digging ditches right now, and it's all for God's glory. They're digging them against you, but I promise you, you're not going to fall in it. I promise you, you won't. Honestly, they're just digging them for themselves. They don't even realize it. But God is setting you up where your enemies shall be your footstool. That's what he's doing. And in order for you to experience that, in order for you all to walk in that, brothers and sisters, and man, God is talking to me through me right now. And I know he's talking to my daughter through me right now. In order for us to experience this peace, for our spirits to be quiet of the fear of evil, we have to run into his name. There is peace in his name. There is joy in his name. There is privacy in his name. There is forgiveness in his name. There is understanding in his name. There is protection in his name. There is wisdom in his name. There is understanding in his name. There is longevity in his name. There is abundance in his name. There are blessings that you couldn't even think of in his name. For eyes have not seen nor ears have heard what he has prepared for those that are called, for those that love him that and are of the called according to his purpose. There is so much in his name. So let's do ourselves a favor. Let's run to his name so we can be safe. Let's hearken unto his voice. so that our spirits will be quiet of the fear of evil. It's not going to happen. It's not going to occur. Your child, your grandchildren, they're safe. You are safe. All your needs are provided. That's how that sounds. And there is a stillness of joy there. Now we can sleep and not be up all night pacing the floor. Why? Because I'm hearkening to the voice of God. And when I listen to his voice, everybody else could be in trouble all around me. There's chaos going on around me, but there's a stillness that I have. There's a strong tower that I'm leaning on, that everything else may be going haywire around me, but I'm still. I'm as light as a feather, honey, in peace. Nothing heavy on me. That's how God wants his children to be. Remember who you are in him. You are of a royal priesthood. We're royal. Seriously, we really are. You think about how big God is in his name? Yeah, you got the juice like that. You do. So I need for you to walk in it just like that. Walk into every room like God sent you there. Have confidence in him. We pray for the families that lost their babies. We do. We do. But what we will not do is speak that over our babies. We're going to unknowingly, by the way. You know how you do that? By always speaking the problem. When you realize that God placed the essence of himself into you, you realize how strong and mighty your words are. So you either limit them, or if you are one like myself that likes to be social, you think before you speak. Because I realize that by the power of God, I have the power of life and death over a situation, concerning a situation. I do. I really do. You do too. Use your words to provide life unto you and not death. So speak over your children. Unfortunately, that happened to the babies in Texas. Unfortunately, it's happening to a baby right now in the city of Chicago that has probably been gunned down. However, my children shall live to declare the works of the Lord. However, my children shall walk upright before him. I shall walk upright before him. That's what you got to speak. And it's not that those that have departed were not righteous. It's called timing. Unfortunately, God's timing doesn't always suits what we want. It doesn't. Unfortunately. We all have loved ones that we wish that we could turn back the hands of time and bring back. All of us do. All of us do. So I'm not telling you not to be human. If you're grieving, grieve. But don't speak death over your family. Don't speak death over yourself. Hearken unto the voice of God and experience peace, which equals being quiet of the fear of evil. That's not how we walk, brothers and sisters. When God speaks to us, when our Father speaks to us, we listen to what he says and we have peace there. So let's run into his name so that we can be safe. I pray that tonight has touched and has encouraged God's people, God's children. Listen to what God is saying to the church. Listen to what he's saying to us. In order for us to enjoy the life that we have now and not wait until we get to the other side to live, we got to listen to the voice of God, you all, and we have to obey his ways. We have to listen to his convictions and correct ourselves. Correct ourselves. I was going to say allow him to correct us, but how does he correct us? He corrects us by speaking to us. But we still have responsibility. What's that responsibility, Melly? Hearkening unto the voice that speaks. You see how it still comes back on you? We try to give God so much, and he's sitting there looking like, I gave you the tools, so what you gonna do? You gonna wait on me to put it together? Or are you going to sit back, read the instructions, and get to work for yourself? That's how he works. So what are we going to do now, brothers and sisters? We're going to do the work. We're going to listen. We're going to read more of his word, pray more, fast more, forgive more, and allow God to change our hearts, making it a daily routine, becoming better in every aspect. Man, I just described a very peaceful person. I just described a very blessed person. And that's what I desire to be for the rest of the days of my life. I desire my child to be the same. And honestly, I desire the same for you. I just want to see you smile. It's enough crying out there. And I honestly don't get nothing by seeing people look miserable or be miserable. Why, Mill? Because negativity loves company. Misery loves company. And if you miserable, you going to try to make me miserable. And I don't want none of that. So again, this is Wisdom Wednesday with The Real with Mio. I love you all. Let's listen to the voice of God. Let's be quiet of the fear of evil. Please read up Proverbs 1:33 and Proverbs 18:10. Study for yourself. Never ever go off of only what the speaker is saying. Why? Because I'm human. And although I do really love God and I'm transparent like that, don't make me your God. Know God for yourself. That's why he has provided his word. So make sure you study. Make sure you pray. Make sure you seek him for yourself. Again, Proverbs 1:33, Proverbs 18:10. All right, you all. I love you all so much. What are we going to do? Run to his name. Let's run to his name so we can be safe. Somebody, what you going to do? Can you say it a little louder? Come on. This is my first church, right? My home is my first church. You right. I didn't tell her to put on no skirt. But Millie is serious about this. Samaya, what did I just say?
Run to his name.
Can you say it louder?
Run to his name.
Say it louder.
Run to his name.
Like you black and you proud. Say it one more time for your mama.
Run to his name.
I should have been counting so I could put a spiritual meaning with the number. All right, we're about to enjoy the rest of our evening. Yes, my home is my first church. That's just what it is. If my home doesn't have it right, what's the point of trying to help others? Seriously, it starts with us first. It starts with me first. And we're about to live in peace, not just represent it. I love you guys so much. Enjoy your evening. Enjoy your families. Whatever you're doing, go hard or go home. You're living in a quietness right now. No fear of evil. No fear, as Griffin would say. No fear. We have no fear. Why? Because we have God. I love you all very, very much. Enjoy your evenings. Wisdom Wednesday is in the building. That's what we're doing moving forward. The Real with Mio. Wisdom Wednesday. I'll see you next Wednesday. Love you guys. Bye-bye.